My special guest, Bruce Bogachnik, back on, and Bruce is a banker. His family owns a Finlayson Bank shares, so it's a group of banks, 19 banks, and we're going to talk a little bit about the monetization of debt, inflation. We talked about this on another episode a little bit, but we talked about stores of value. One of the things we didn't really get into was cryptocurrencies. We want to talk real quickly about that. Not that either of us would claim to be an expert on cryptocurrencies. I want to throw that out there right now. Here's the thing. I've kind of stayed away from them myself. Because I don't, and I'll tell you why. So I kind of look at this like what I talked about before, like the zombie apocalypse scenario and what happens if the EMP comes through and all these computers get nailed. How do you get to your cryptocurrency? That's my question. I mean, how does that work? If systems are going down and systems are failing, how do you get to this cryptocurrency? Yet the physical, I hold on to that. It's real. It's right there. And in a localized economy, that's very easy to trade. And how do you trade Bitcoin to people who don't trust Bitcoin?
Yeah, and so we're rural, we're somewhere people, we talked about that.
Yeah.
So we're kind of the have it in our physical hands type people. That's just the way we're wired.
Yeah.
And could be wrong, there's room for everyone in this world. And so cryptocurrencies is something that obviously Bitcoin is a representation of that.
We're at $50,939 for a Bitcoin today. I have a friend who sold it at like $7,000. He thought he was making a killing. I mean, yeah,
and he probably did.
He did, yeah, for what he got it for, But yeah.
So I guess the pros with the Bitcoin is in a way it is.
Wish I had some at this point.
Exactly.
But,
maybe we wouldn't be talking so badly about it if we actually owned some. And it may, it is part of the gig economy that's. The stocks have exploded. Amazon, Google, Apple, and so it could continue to soar and soar. It could go to $100,000, $200,000. I don't know. I'll tell you my issues with Bitcoin, and I'm from the financial world, a banker. We have 19 locations, not 19 banks, but 19 locations.
19 locations, yeah.
And the thing with the Bitcoin is, or any store of value against the dollar. For one, people say, well, a dollar bill is just a made-up store, and it is. In the olden days in Denmark, they carried 40-pound copper discs on their back, and that's what they used to exchange. Well, carrying 40 pounds on your back around to get a loaf of bread or two is, kind of difficult. So they came with paper currencies. But the thing about a U.S. dollar or any government currency is they have the right to tax you. Yes. And they also have, unfortunately, the right of confiscation. I mean, they can take your things. So they can get repaid to some degree. So there is that value there as opposed to a separate third-party type of thing like Bitcoin is. Yeah. The other problem I had is a number of years ago, I don't know where it is now, but there was over 2,000 individual cryptocurrencies. They're not all going to survive, so you have this chance, you're going to be picking winners and losers. And 90% of those, 95% of those are going to be losers.
Well, they have to be, because it's just going to get centralized. They don't need that many, and it's too confusing.
Yes.
I mean, like, what, everybody's going to sit there with their little CoinDesk app and go, oh, okay, you got some Ethereum there, and that's right. You got Bitcoin, you got the... Yeah,
you fill up your car with gas, they're not going to be able to take 10 or 1,000 different cryptocurrencies and get paid. And so, to some degree, Bitcoin has already answered that as one of the winners because it has soared and has grown. But there will be winners and losers. And the other issue is we just talked about confiscation. And it happened actually with physical assets and silver and gold.
Back in the 30s.
Back in the 30s under
Roosevelt.
Roosevelt. He confiscated all gold bullion.
He wasn't one of the best presidents. I just want to throw that out there. That's my own personal opinion. You don't have to agree with me, but it's...
What he didn't confiscate was the coin. So on an earlier show, we talked about the actual coinage because they are coins and usable as currency to buy. A silver dollar can still buy $1 worth of stuff as a coin. And so they couldn't impound that. So gold coins, gold, silver didn't get, but all bullion did. But anyway, so the government can confiscate or they can outlaw. And so the question is if a cryptocurrency is only used for nefarious or criminal activities
Or even just the underground economy. let's call
underground, and the government wants their taxes, they want their sales taxes, they want their income taxes on it, you can see a point where they could outlaw it, try confiscate it, or squash it. They have that ability. A Frenchman years ago, it said, I think his quote was, it's not good to be right when the government is wrong. And so if the government finds themselves on the wrong side of cryptocurrency, in some degree they already are. They're not collecting sales tax on transactions, they're not collecting income tax. So they will try their best to outlaw it. And of course, proponents of any cryptocurrency saying, well, yeah, we'll just go underground, or that's the beauty. It's stored on the system in any country. In no country you can access it.
Yeah, I mean, people get paid for like hosting, well, the energy it takes. I mean, this would be a whole other thing, greenies.
Yeah.
This is not green. I just want you to know that, because I had a friend approach me.
It's terribly not green.
So like the power that it takes to mine, as they call it, mining Bitcoin.
Right now,
you can set it up in your house and become a Bitcoin miner, and you get paid for this.
You used to be anyway. Now I think it has gotten so relative. It is what you're paying for electricity and the computer processing. You really have to go big to make it work now. But currently, the annualized use of electricity, someone backed into it, but they've done it year after year, backed into a number, is equal to the electricity used by the whole country of Argentina in a year. Right now, Bitcoin mining is equal to the electricity used in Argentina for a whole year. So that is how ungreen it is. Just incredible.
Like those cotton dollars now.
Yeah. So the question is, if they try stomp it out or control it. And again, you can use it then, but it'll be outside of the law, and that means not many people are going to take it. And actually, the size of it to me is a problem. I can't go to the grocery store and use it.
Yeah.
I can't go to the lumber yard and use it. I mean, at 50,000 a pop, and I know they split it into little things, but so I think eventually cryptocurrency, you might find, I think you will find that the federal governments, the United States, European Union, Japan and stuff, they will actually come out with their own cryptocurrency. And then also Facebook tried to launch a cryptocurrency, and year ago, and they're at the point where they're going to relaunch it. And I think those will be in denominations and sizes that'll make them more accessible to the average person, and it'll be used more like a currency that you can, swipe a card or something like that and use, or tap it and use it.
The only thing that supports a cryptocurrency, literally the only thing, is people's willingness to take it as a medium of exchange. That's the only thing that supports it. I mean, because otherwise you're just sitting with what? I mean, it's not even, you can't even hold it like a dollar bill. I mean, you can't even burn it in your fireplace if it gets that bad. Yeah,
and again, we talked about being real people, so I don't confuse. If I had a Bitcoin, and Elon Musk, who's with Tesla, is accepting Bitcoin, if I had a single Bitcoin and he would trade me a Tesla for it,
sounds like a deal.
I'd put that in my garage, and I'd much happier. And I know it'll go down in value. Yeah. No vehicle holds its value forever, but
they're terrible at holding value.
Yeah, exactly. But I would still. I'm in.
You can drive it around.
I can drive it around. I can enjoy it instead of saying, somewhere out there, I believe there's a Bitcoin with my numbers on it, my numbers, and I hope I don't lose them.
Well, didn't people lose? I mean, hasn't there been a number of people who've lost their Bitcoin? I mean,
there's people in the early days that got them, didn't know what they'd be any value, and they had the numbers, what they needed to unlock them on computers that got thrown away or fried and lost forever. They've had large hacks, and so it's, they say it's secure, but they've lost a lot of them one way or another over the years. So
there's that too. So I mean, these are just our thoughts. Again, obviously we don't own any Bitcoin, so take it for what it's worth. Because if you love the stuff, great, do what you want to do. But I'm always thinking, I don't know why my mind always goes this way. Maybe it's because you gave me those books to read. But I go to this zombie apocalypse scenario, like, what if everything crumbles? What can I do? And I'm always thinking in terms of, because I just believe that things could. I don't. There's too much throughout the history of the world. No empires lasted forever.
No. And so don't spend all your time worrying about it, but don't walk around thinking that it could never, ever happen.
Yeah.
You don't want to lay awake at night, but things can happen, and to somewhat to have run it through your mind when you have extra time to know what you might do just seems to be sound,
Yeah, I mean-
sound lumberjack logic.
Sound lumberjack lunch, that's right.
That's
I mean,
why
it's-
we're here.
It's like, people talk about prepping. Well, it's good to have some extra food around. I mean, you saw when the whole COVID thing was going on. Apparently it's good to have extra toilet paper around too, my fine friends out there.
That is sound lumberjack logic.
If you don't want to be wiping your butt with poison ivy, I mean, especially if you're in the cities and you don't know, leaves at 3, come on. But it's a real problem. You don't want to do that. But in all seriousness, I think in terms of, I'm not some radical prepper who's got 2 years of food, or anything like this, but I do, because I live rural, and we've got a garden and we can some stuff and we hunt and we fish and we do these things. And like I own 3 freezers instead of 1, because with 3 freezers, since I'm off the grid, I can unplug the one when it's not full. And if one goes down, I've still got 2. It's just kind of a way of thinking. I don't stay awake thinking about it, too much. But, do think in terms of just like, well, what are my plans? I mean, what do I do if things go wrong? And just have a basic plan together for that. I think it's important to do so. So anyways, thanks so much for listening to Lumberjack Logic. Again, remember to subscribe, like the content, or if you're on Rumble, hit the little plus, the Rumble button, and share it. Share it. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers. At the time of this recording. By the time this comes out, maybe we'll be at the 1,000, but would love to hit that 1,000 mark on both channels, really close. So thanks so much.